Where is my vlog? Hello Aquarians, and this is the reading for the people who still have some kind of connection with the exes, or we are going through Mercury retrograde. An ex passes your mind, you're wondering how she's doing, so you're creating the energy, you want to know what's going on. So this is a good way to check and connect. The cards that you see on the table are basically significators. I developed them for 2 years, and now they're working. They can give me a really educated decision. Especially this works one-on-one when you order a private reading. This is a general reading, so guys, make sure you check your ascendant and you check your moon sign to kind of get different aspects over here. Another thing over here, guys, that I want to really quickly introduce are those significators. You can see the detailed explanation on my site, which you kind of have it here in the left corner. But generally in this category, I want to see what is going on for this relationship, if this relationship, if you wish, is even a starter. Over here, what needs to be glued to move forward if things are actually meant to be. The significators, these two, it can be either of them. Don't look at the gender. Then the energy in between, communication, what is basically karma involvement in all of that right now, and this slice of time, and the next steps. So let's start. Aquarius, so this is for this last week in October and for November. So let's see, guys, we are going through Mercury retrograde, officially entering Halloween. Imagine what a mess Halloween this year is going to be. But we are already in shadow, and I am already feeling it. So let's see what more we are going to encounter and how to deal with this. So Aquarians. All right. So we have Two of Wands, the Empress, Eight of Pentacles, Page of Swords, reversed, Knight of Cups, the Star, and Seven of Pentacles. You know, sometimes words flash just, ahead of me, kind of like a vision. I just for some reason have a word which frankly kind of like simplify things, and the word that flashed through like just before my eyes was maturity. And this is really how this looked like, because the Empress fell into this category, quote unquote, that needs fixing, right? So the Empress to me is that perfect woman. It's the mother, it's that feminine interest, feminine involvement, female touch. See, this is kind of like rules with Venus, and she kind of like brings bounty. This is also about creativity. This is also about maybe falling behind, right? Like not feeling like a woman, which can be a part of vanity. And this kind of like fell into what needs fixing. So I really think that some of you are maybe not feeling attractive enough. Some of you are feeling that you have fallen behind, that maybe, I don't know, maybe even the best years are behind you. And you're hearing tiger being thirsty. Maybe the nourishment, maybe moisturizer is needed, kind of like the water that we are hearing over here that needs to flow. It's interesting enough, this card actually has flowing water, and so does our card having a flowing water. So basically, I guess my attention has been drawn to that, which talks about refreshing, which talks about healing, which talks about setting things right. The Star is falling in the judgment, in the karma kind of category, which is basically saying we need to be authentic. We need to be who we are. I love this card, not only because this represents our sign, but look at her. She is walking on water, and she can nourish the planet very much like her. She doesn't need to bring anything feminine, masculine. She just doesn't discriminate everything. Basically, she's there to help. And I also like that she's naked, meaning that she's completely comfortable with being who she is. Now, there is someone, and there is someone who I'm not so sure. It's kind of really interesting that there is like 8 of Pentacles and then 7 of Pentacles after. And 8 of Pentacles is like looking in the details, and looks like some details, maybe things will looked alright with details, right? And this is an 8, and I have an 8 over here. So I feel it was a relationship which kind of like was hot and steamy, and maybe started very, very fast. Maybe you felt almost lured in the relationship, or somehow you ended in a relationship under false premise. With this Empress being in this category makes me think that you really felt, well, this man makes me feel like the perfect woman, or this woman makes me feel like a perfect woman, or if you know, if there is a woman, maybe kind of like it felt something that you're very sensitive, right? And that was very appealing. And then this card is really talking about, hey, you know, which direction? Look at this. This is one wand kind of bolted in the wall. Look at another wand he's holding on to. But he's also holding this globe in his hands and saying to himself, what kind of world I can build over here. This is like so empowering over here. It's almost like you are reinventing yourself. You're putting the final touches. Maybe you molded kind of like generic concept, but it still really doesn't have a shape, but it's really, really close. As far as that partner, I do feel there is someone. And as I said, I do feel there is some kind of history. As I said, it felt that you fell for someone who maybe kind of like made us feel differently. And generally we don't like to be like, made feel like you're the most beautiful woman. And that's something that is very, is it right, Savvy? Yeah, how appropriate. A little Aquarian girl is showing for Aquarius reading. Are you pretty? You like to be known as pretty? Oh, you do. And how about the smart? I thought you liked to be super smart. You like that too. Pretty and smart. Are you the Empress? You were not so sure. Are you the star? Are you the superstar? Oh my gosh. Are you the best? Savvy? Are you the best? Huh? Are you gorgeous? Who's pretty girl? Who's pretty girl? Who's pretty girl? Are you bringing luck to my fellow Aquarians over here? Guys, this is really, really lucky that we are getting such a pretty girl to come and visit us. So, also what I'm seeing, guys, here, that you have been rebuilding yourself in more ways than one. You have maturity. The word that flashed is really telling me you have worked on you, on your self-esteem, in who you are, in which direction you are going, and maybe not necessarily successfully, that you think of yourself as a success, but I'm telling you that what you were doing, you were on the right path. The partner that you're inquiring about is still thinking about you. In fact, they are checking you out, whether or not this is like your LinkedIn profile, your Instagram, driving by your house, asking friends about you. There is like something, or you might notice something like that, because when Page of Swords shows up here, we are really talking about communication without speaking. So, which means that somebody is really trying to figure out and revive something from the past. But look, they're also showing up as King of Cups. And King of Cups is that romantic energy. They're like going through, I wonder what would have happened. I wonder. It is kind of like really weird, because everything other than Page of Swords, it looks like calm, it looks like decent energy, to the point, right, of saying, hey, you know what, like, there is hope, because the star is over here. For some of you, karma is saying, look, there is like a process that you can still work on, and that you can still build. You can maybe still go and figuring things out. but it doesn't have to be the extreme. You don't have to be kind of like the one on the pedestal, because this is really not a good role for anybody to be, because you can't be all your life the prettiest, the smartest, the most beautiful, unless you're Safi. Right, Jeff? Am I correct? You're always going to be the most beautiful? Huh? Miss Safi? Yeah. So let's see what else do we have here, if Miss Safi allows me with her furry butt to see the cards. So we have Four of Wands. Ooh, we have Karma card, and it's falling in a category that needs to be glued. Huh? There was a karmic connection that you had with this partner. Oh la la, and that's why something was urging you that you need to push certain things forward. Maybe you're like wondering and asking yourself, why did I really want to go this far? Yes, the partner made you feel very good, but it made you feel good in a very different way of how you establish yourself as a person, how you establish yourself as a woman, and that's kind of like really, really interesting over here. There it is. To me, this is a friendship card, and I think maybe something between the two of you started as friends and start to be very fulfilling, but it's really coming to the point where this grounded energy, this is really not typical for Aquarians, that I see this Pentacles. Oh my goodness, this partner really wants you, but at the same time they actually might be just a little bit married over here. What the hell? The Hierophant and the Star. It's really talking about maybe there was an obstacle, maybe that were like two perfect partners, except you were born when the situation was already set and you couldn't change the game anymore, and maybe you kind of like were made to feel that, hey, you are the one, I have to be with you. And that's what I said, somebody made you feel very good, but it kind of like really didn't push through for some reason. And we are fixed sign. You may have been dealing with another water sign, you may have been dealing with air sign or earth sign. Well, actually I even see fire here as well. So all of them are actually really showing up here. So it's kind of like really interesting. This person is simultaneously creating loving and joyful feelings, but also anxiety. Maybe this person caused you sleepless nights. Maybe this person is still causing you sleepless nights and worried about knowing what you want. It almost looks like that both of you are offending each other off. Look at him. Just stay away from me. He is protecting his heart chakra. Look at this, how strongly he is holding this and angrily saying, stay away from me. Like, let's zoom on this dude over here. It is very self-protective, and it's right next to this Page of Swords. And Page of Swords also, when reversed, it can talk about saying things that you're not supposed to say. And we all have been there. You're like talking and blurring things out, and you're saying to yourself inside, I shouldn't be saying this, I shouldn't be saying this, don't say this, and then you hear yourself saying it. That's the problem when you're born under swords, because it's so freaking fast. We are thinking so fast, we are speaking so fast before we are able to ground that, right? So unless you have deep pentacles that you can ground this, like this kind of like really moves it forward. But grounding energy is coming through right now with kind of like precision to what you really want. Well, there is a huge difference in how you want things to happen. You looks like you're willing to offer friendship, not much, but friendship. And let's see where this goes. The Dark Horse, to me, Knight of Pentacles is like slow and steady, prove it to me kind of a thing. Well, Ace of Wands is passion. This person is very passionate, and we have Ace, we have 2, and we have 4 over here. So you're dealing with somebody who kind of like really wants a lot. And you might also deal with a person who overpromises things. Because after this, which is sometimes a marriage card, which is commitment, it's a human commitment to God, if you wish, to some bigger force. Safi, can you please leave this bag alone? Because like it's ASMR, kind of like shh, 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 in the background. because here is really telling me that either you rejected this person and you have been the one who rejected it, or that they have been things that morally didn't fit properly. Sorry, let me just take the bags, otherwise I'll have a big vet bill, because she likes to eat bags, right? How about you don't eat bags? You don't eat bags. Thank you, lady. Like Safi only has 4 pounds, and she just likes to yum on this. Like, I mean, I don't know like why we in Canada still have plastic bags, but we do. And especially when they're crunchy, she just likes them. So distraction that basically just happened meant this could be like there were lots of distractions in a situation, as you can hear it in the background. So, and the Ace of Swords karma card means this was a karmic soulmate. It's kind of like the knight is representing the king, but he also represents the kind of like spiritual leader in the country as well. But we just don't have a masculine coming through, right? So we have 2 knights, and it's almost like knights are not really committed energy. Knights are, you send them out, they come in. There's a message, right? Maybe a gift with a message. Usually pages are just messages. So we have a page, we have 2 knights. I think that each of you are wondering, hey, how are you doing? How did you move on? It almost looks like you're entirely focused on your career. You're entirely Aquarians focused on where you're going, kind of like found this ground. Yet you didn't cut the karmic contract. The karmic contract is still existing here, and you're still dealing with that on some level. And there is 3, and 3 was missing. Look at this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of them are in this category. Would this work? Yeah, it would work. And this 3 is linking to this empress. And I really think the problem here it was unrealistic. It almost like was a fairy tale. Page of Cups, the Magician, Strength. Five of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, and the Chariot. Wow. Look at the amount of majors that we actually have in this reading. So you have lots of signs that are coming through. Taurus, Virgo, Gemini, Leo, earth signs, air signs, Cancer, water signs. Oh my freaking God. They're like all kind of like these messages that I'm kind of like picking up on. So it's kind of like weird. Again, like, I mean, hey, how do we move it forward? Well, you don't love me enough. There was like almost like, where do you go from when you're already on a freaking top? And that was an issue. That issue is something that we can resolve inside of us. Do they want to come back? Yes. But they also have obstacles that are holding them down. And I don't know, maybe you're also dealing with Sagittarius over here and Capricorn. There are like things that I see. I also see there was like a huge, enormous attraction in the situation. But this commitment over here, look what is in between. We see this like 5 of Pentacles. In this card, we see like these 2, beggars walking by the church. So why in the world is church not open the doors for the poor and weak and injured? Why? Possible that it's something that actually violated those church tenements, right? And that kind of couldn't move forward. Maybe, the person you have been dealing with was actually married and they couldn't get out of the situation, or it was not something they considered. Maybe they overpromised, they said they would, but things really didn't work out this way, or you didn't want them to get through, and things got really complicated. And yet, it's kind of really weird. It was like really pushing it forward and moving it backward at the same time. It was really, really difficult. Almost like looks to me that 2 of you were friends, and you were meant to be friends in this life. And that moved in a different direction. There is like a big karmic bond here. Safi, do you really have to? We have 21 cards. And Matrix is going to join now. Is he? No, he's a good boy. So guys, the chariot coming through finally is like focus. You looks like it's almost like you will either have some communication with this person, or simply start moving forward. Because our card is the star that kind of like came through where she's sitting on the star card, and strength card is like a very similar vibration. We have that over here showing, but also 1 and 7 or 8 kind of like go back to this. So everything is telling me that I think it's us that we are declaring, you know what, I need to cut this, I need to cut this, I need to move forward. Something maybe you feel held you back. Maybe you're finally sorting things out in the proper brackets and figuring out how things need to move forward. Whether or not you're communicating to them, because it might be conversation but might not be, because this is showing up over here, and it almost looks like that you might end up being accused of being a liar, where you're saying, I'm the liar, you're the one who made all of these promises and everything, but you're dealing with somebody who is in a very difficult situation, and this is a bad situation for both, and this is why things are not rolling forward with the huge amount of these beautiful cards. But this is saying rejoice. It's almost like saying you need to cut this contract. You were not meant to be in a relationship. You were meant to be friends. This is why you had this enormous anxiety. Almost looks like you started this relationship and it was like so beautiful, you were on a pedestal, and then it just started to go down like with sort of like gravity, with this freaking like, I mean, free fall. And it was like, why? That's because karma is saying no. It usually happens when, for example, you have been brother and sister in a past life, and like, and hence maybe you had completely separate lives up to that point where you met, but then you realize you have like so similar lives in so many ways, right? Because there is like that cellular memory on some level. And it's kind of like really weird that, you know, in the end, you want them so much, and you're rebuilding yourself, work on yourself. In the end, they are the ones feeling like a victim. And you know what? There is like karma they need to figure out. You have yours. Look at this major and karma card over here, and they have it as well. So there are kind of like issues on both ends. I really feel this was meant to be. Look at this. You having wands here, don't having majors, but wands are really talking about huge passion, talking about something really was nice, and maybe you really wanted to live fairy tale, but let's be serious, fairy tales don't really exist, right? So it is really time to set new basically systems and new processes. We are fixed sign, we know what we need, we know what we want. Maybe we had to learn this about us. Maybe we had to learn that even imperfect, we are fully accepting ourselves, we are repositioning ourselves to kind of grow our life. Maybe we put our life on hold dealing with this, and now it's kind of like decision being made during November that, hey, you know, I'm moving forward, I can do whatever I want. And look at what I find. It's a really enormous beauty in this read is that this card is two beautiful sunny cards. Like, look at this yellow that we have. Some sun is like almost like blessing us. But look at this infinity over here. We are starting a new cycle. So who do you want to be in this cycle? Do you really want to reach your potential, or do you want to deal with the same old? Because this is clearly sending you that message. So my dear Aquarians, do not forget to check your ascendant and to check your moon sign, because that's also going to give you additional information. Of course, to get your own reading, contact me at cattier.ca. You see it here, I think somewhere down in the corner. And my social media, please join in. Would be glad to see you there. And until the next time, monthlies are coming up soon. You know, guys, that I love you and I wish you all the best.